Can you hold me steady? Be the ballast for my soul. Can you save me when I'm sinking? Where else can I go?
You know what? Life can be really hard. And I mean, things almost never go the way that we plan. And when our expectations aren't met, like, we get a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment, a lot of pain. And what do we do with this? Because we're told that we're supposed to trust God, that He has everything under control, and that there's nothing to worry about. We hear that He has plans to prosper us and not to harm us. But what about when it feels like God is absolutely ruining us? I mean, what about even the times maybe we're the ones who made some really bad decisions, and now God's allowing those really bad decisions to hurt us? I mean, we have this hope that God makes beauty out of ashes, but what does that even mean? Like, I think it means that life isn't all smooth sailing. And I mean, I see a God who would allow His Son to go through the worst torture imaginable in order to bring the greatest joy and the greatest victory and the greatest triumph that the world has ever known. And it came out of the deepest pain that the world has ever known. And regardless of what maybe you've been taught, a relationship with Jesus does not guarantee us a life without pain. It guarantees us that we're loved through the pain. It guarantees us that maybe there's a greater purpose and God is at work through our pain that we can't see in that moment. And you know what I'm learning? I'm learning that God's plans for me are way better than my plans for me. And any time that He's had to maybe even forcibly remove me from the path that I was making for myself in order to bring me to the perfect plan that He had for me, the one that I would appreciate way more in the long run, that's been a painful process. Because we want things the way we want them, when we want them. And when our expectations aren't being met, we kind of like freak out like little babies. And we don't need to freak out, because if God is so busy just meeting our expectations all the time, then how is He ever going to exceed our expectations? Ephesians chapter 3 says, "My God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we could ask or think." The Bible also says, in the book of Psalms, the psalmist says, "In your righteousness you have afflicted me." So what I think we can conclude here is that God's not afraid to hurt us for our good, never for our harm. And there's a huge difference between hurt and harm, because hurt is temporary, and in our case, hurt is temporary, God leading to something way better, while harm is detrimental, and God would never damage us. John Piper has this quote, and when I read it, it just quickly became one of my favorites. He says, "As a pastor, I do not think it is my job to entertain you during these last days. I don't think it's my calling to help you have chipper feelings while the whole creation groans. But it's my job to put the kind of ballast in the belly of your boat that when the waves of life crash against you, you won't capsize, but you'll make it to the harbor of heaven, battered and wounded, but full of faith and joy." And I was so inspired by this quote that I wrote a song called Ballast with my family. And a ballast is a heavy substance that's placed low in a vessel in order to improve its stability. And of course, the metaphor here for Christians is that Christ is the ballast. And I don't know about you, but I need some stability in my life. And I've been through hurt, and I've been through pain, and I've been through disappointment, like a lot of it. But every single time, something far greater than I could have ever imagined came out of it. And so, when I face future storms, I'm less afraid. And my prayer for you would be that you would recognize that maybe your hurt is God at work for your good, never for your harm. That Jesus would be your ballast. And when your expectations aren't being met, you would know it's not because you aren't loved, and it's not because you're forgotten. It's because God is penning a story that is way better than anything you could have ever dreamt up for yourself. My prayer is that when you go through storms, that Jesus would be your ballast, that you would find peace, and that you'd be less afraid.
Make me less afraid.